Hello and welcome back, subscribers, to another Sunday Speak Feed. Please excuse that my voice sounds really funky, it's pretty cold outside, but also please sit through the entire video as this helps my YouTube channel reach wider audience members and lets me know that you're interested. So I hope you'll enjoy today's alternate universe of Undertale. Reincarnated. As you guys might have seen in a previous animation meme I made a while back, I made Reincarnated, announced to whoever was interested in checking that out, and I mentioned I'll be posting more about it, so here I am posting a sort of fake screenshot type of thing of Judgement Hall with Frisk and Sans. Except, this video wasn't even supposed to be posted because I got stressed, I got anxious, and I got that sort of like, I'm not good enough, this is not good enough, nobody's interested in seeing this kind of mindset. And I kicked myself and I said no. I told myself I was going to post fan artwork, and I also wanted to remind myself that this is what I'm working hard for. This is what I make for my channel, is I wanted to make fan artwork that didn't look like its original source. So let me start with something that I've mentioned on this channel before. When I learned how to do illustrations, the techniques that I learned back in school, I was taught that if you're referencing something, whether that's still life or a picture, you are trying to get it as close to that as possible with the medium that you are using. You can see how this made my art downfall for a while, and it sometimes lingers and it comes back in full force. And unfortunately that happens in fan artwork. Whether that's something from a video game, a TV show, or even someone else's characters, unfortunately my mind has latched on that I need to make it look exactly like or as close to as possible. So instead of making fan artwork in a style that is my own, that I've honed, that's a mix of many things, it's like I've taken a picture of it and said, woo, I made artwork. It's not the same. There is an extreme amount of hard work that goes into every artist's techniques that have been developed over the years, and for some reason I'm still stuck in that placeholder spot that I haven't done that yet. Sure, there are some stylistic choices, such as 3 fingers and a thumb instead of that, or the particular shapes of noses, ears, eyes, and stuff. But that's not the entirety of it, and it's not given a excessive, I guess you could call it, shape language, or even the way that I render, or all these things that are taken into account for these projects. And I started to realize that I'm on a hyperfixation mixed with my old school teachings that I really need to break, and that's why I wanted to actually complete this project. Whether people are interested in what is actually being drawn on, or if they're interested in what I'm talking about, the important part for me was that I want to make this for the audience that I'm designating this for, and that could be just about anybody, and I didn't want to lose that by me not posting this at all. So I told myself it'll be okay, and whatever happens, it's gonna be okay, because there are many more ideas that I have that are coming out as the weeks go by. So whether it's a hit or miss, it's something that I'm proud of at the end of it, and that I'm working on that self-confidence, because that's another thing with my artwork. My line confidence, you can see it when I make these pictures that it's pretty wonky. Now, I don't do hatching with my lines. I try to do one stroke for a particular area, where I'll do for the t-shirts or for their arms or their face. I try to do that as best as I can. But I also have a habit of zooming in to do the details. Now, this is fine for some things like the eyes and, maybe the details on their fingers, but when I zoom out, it might also be affecting how things look. An example could be the way that I drew the background. You'll notice that by the door behind Frisk, the angle makes it look like they are kind of like tilted downward when you get closer to Frisk. I meant to foreshorten it similar to how Sans is for the background, and it's a struggle that I'm working on. Now, for the actual Reincarnated Undertale, for those of you who have waited this far in the video, thank you. I know that I tend to talk a lot in these videos, but that's also because I want these videos to go from 5 minutes or 10 minutes to maybe even 15 minutes to a half an hour long video if you guys would be interested in. Because that's the plan for this channel. Longer videos, more grasping entertainment, and also more refined artwork. But What made me want to make this Undertale Reincarnated was actually a few years back. I've seen a lot of people make these alternate universes, and they're fantastic. I would be honored if anybody ever actually took any of my characters and stories and made an alternate universe of it, because I'm fascinated by what other people's minds excuse me, come up with either pretty similar ideas, just changing a few things, or changing it entirely and giving a whole new look on a world, or even just characters. I enjoy that tremendously, so that's what I did here with Frisk and Sans. The idea, which I've slightly elaborated in my animation meme that I made a while back, is Frisk is so self-aware of the restarts and the save files and everything that happens, so every time they're back to somewhere, they're just like, I've been here before, I've already gone through this, and tries to express this to the monsters of the underground and say, I can't die. What part of that don't you understand? You can't collect my soul because it's just going to happen again and again, and nobody except for Sans was listening. And at the ending point, when Frisk reaches Judgment Hall, it's like, Sans, you're the only one who understands, and it force resets the game, and then the real Reincarnated starts with the appearance changes and everything. So when Frisk falls down this time, they remember everything, and a fair few monsters remember it as well, but I wanted the visual change to be the first thing. The pointy ears, the eyes, now they're not blind, but they see things differently, and I wanted to kind of go into a history of the humans or the people that Frisk is related to, that perhaps because the story goes that the monsters are now trapped underground, they're not a threat anymore, and perhaps these particular humans, like Frisk, have these special eyes to see the souls of not only monsters but other humans, and the magical star powers, whether that's just something for the underground or even on the overworld that they have. This power might be a bit intimidating for others who don't have this, and they might be seen equally to monsters and not be wanted anymore. So either of hatred and being like kicked out or chased out or nearly killed by their own humans. I thought maybe that's one option, or another option is that they are curious of this history and want to see it for themselves and goes purposefully down to Mount Doom and gets a bit overwhelmed by it and doesn't realize the consequences to their actions. So, with that being said, the monsters have their own side of the story, is that, every human that's come in before, they realize they can use these souls of these humans and kind of, I didn't want it to necessarily be 100% malicious, but because of that angered history of war, it's like, they did this to our children, they did this to us, turning us to nothing but dust and ash. What's a few humans at the cost of the thousands or however many are above ground? Kind of mindset for some of them. Now others, such as Papyrus and even Monster Kid, they have more innocent mindsets of it and think, why are we fighting? Why are we just as bad as them? Why can't we befriend? And stuff like that. Still something that I wanted to keep, but I wanted the visuals to kind of emphasize that. Now, for someone like Sans, who would definitely remember, they have the scarf, but for an innocent like Papyrus, they just think they've borrowed a spare scarf of theirs. Same thing with the crack in the eye. That's something that they have as a battle scar from the timeline before the reincarnation. I wanted this to be something fun, and if this intrigues you and you want to learn more about my alternate timeline, let me know, because otherwise it's going to be a while before I work on the next video. That about wraps it up, folks. If you guys have enjoyed, don't forget I have playlists and a link tree down below for more, and if you want to help support this channel, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like to let YouTube know so we can reach a wider audience and grow the Subscribblers army. See you next time. Bye-bye.